Welcome to In Her Voice, a podcast created for women who listen to and live by their deepest wisdom, their inner voice. This was made for you, the woman who feels pulled to more, to lead, to create, to dream, and to be a world changer. My name is Kelly Covert, and I am an inner voice coach. Join me here each week as we explore what it means to reach for your inspired potential, all while honoring your worthiness each and every day. Hi there. You are listening to In Her Voice. Thank you so much for being here. I have a really great something to share with you today. I'm super excited about this. I was journaling this morning and really sitting with what I wanted to share this week on the podcast. And this just came down into my heart. And I've been actually sitting a lot with this idea lately in my personal life and sort of processing things and working through things and really getting this deep down into my body. Like I want it to be inside of my body, not just inside of my brain. And so when I'm working on embodying a concept, I think about it a lot and I write about it a lot and I talk to my circle about it a lot. And that has all really crystallized into this beautiful aha moment that I had that I want to share with you regarding intentions and actions. So if you've been listening for this year, even before all of the COVID stuff was happening, I was digging a lot into this idea of intention and grace and loving transformation. So if you want to go back and you want to listen to that episode, it's episode 185. You can find it by going to kellycovert.com/185 and it'll take you right there. But what I talked about on that episode was my formula for loving transformation, which is grace plus intention. And I really love the idea and the concept of intention so much. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I write my intentions down every day, the things that I'm really working on embodying. That doesn't mean I write down every single intention every day, but what I'm trying to do is create the new beliefs, the things that maybe aren't so default yet. And I'm trying to integrate them into my being. And I do that by reminding myself of what they are, because if they're not integrated yet, I need that daily reminder. So as I've been sitting with this idea of grace plus intention equals loving transformation, it really brought me to the question of the action. And so I'll just share in my life, I tend to be, if I don't catch myself, a black and white thinker, sort of all or nothing. I'll either be healthy all of the time or I will eat junk food all of the time. I will work out like crazy or I won't move my body at all. I'm not so great at like doing the in-between, like finding the middle ground of things. And I think that that's a personality trait and it's not something that is always helpful to me. And so knowing that it's not always helpful to me, it's really good to self-examine when it might be holding me back. And so, as I was sitting with some actions that I was taking that clearly were not working for me and were not getting me closer to where I wanted to be in my life and weren't fulfilling my desires. This is something that happened several years ago. It's when I was really, I just really burned myself out. And I felt like I had spent a lot of time in my life punishing myself, for not being good enough. And what I did to make myself feel better was I just did more and more, and I just beat myself up more and more. And I just, did. It was all this doing to bolster my feelings of worthiness. And that wasn't working. And so being an all or nothing kind of person, I decided, well, that's not working. So, what's my intention? My intention is to feel worthy every day and to own my worthiness. I am a person who believes in her worth, in her innate worth every single day. And so what I decided to do was I decided just to do opposite of what I was doing before. And so to me, that felt right. Like those actions weren't working. So I'll go to the other end of the spectrum and I'll do opposite of that and see if that works. And spoiler alert, it doesn't. And so some of this is I'm still working through some of these things. And that's just me saying that in full transparency. We're all doing the work all the time. We're all on a path that we will always be on. And it's always about discovering the new things that pop up that give you the opportunity to do this deep work of self-development. And so I was sitting with this idea of intention and action, and I realized I had sort of this aha moment that for a really long time in my mind, having a different intention equaled taking a different action. So different intention, different action, and that would get me to where I wanted, which is, a simplistic view of that, because if you look at it, we can change the intention and we can change the action, but just by changing the action, we don't necessarily change the intention, if that makes any sense. And so sometimes that can work, sometimes it doesn't, and it's an experimentation. But what if we have a different intention and the action stays the same? So a really good example of that is exercising, right? So you can exercise with the intention of making yourself smaller, of punishing yourself for everything that you've eaten. You can exercise as a way to prove to yourself that you're good enough. There's lots of intentions that can be behind exercise that are not healthy. Okay? That doesn't mean that exercising is in of itself wrong or bad or unhealthy, right? We can all agree that moving your body is a good thing. And so what if we change the intention of that? What if we have different intention, same action? Different intention. I love my body. I want to take care of it. Health is important to me. Same action, moving my body every single day. And, the difference is then we can take that action knowing that it's from a place of love and from a place of belief and value, instead of from this place of hate, if you will. It could be, or from a place of low self-esteem, or from a place of needing to prove your worth every single day. So that really changes the feeling. So what we have, I'm going to recap. Different intention, different action doesn't necessarily work. Okay? Different intention, same action is viable. And so, what this gets down to is the difference doesn't come from the action. The difference doesn't come from the doing. The difference comes from your being, right? It comes from the beingness of you. Who are you? If you want to be a different person, you have to believe that you're a different person and make choices from there. So your intentions begin to change. It becomes more of, I do this and that makes me this kind of person, to who am I and why am I doing this? What kind of person am I and why am I doing what I'm doing? Does that make sense to you guys? So I wrote up another little sort of fill in the blank sentence that you can use to help you with this. And I'm going to show you two things. So how I used to be was like this. I plus your action, then, so I am a person who, okay? So let me say that again. I plus your action, so I am a person who. So what that could look like is I meditate, so I am a person who listens to my inner voice. And hopefully you can see already that that is a slippery slope, right? Because what happens if I don't meditate? Does that mean I'm not listening to my inner voice anymore? Does that mean I'm not a person who listens to my inner voice anymore? I exercise so I am a healthy person. Well, what if I don't exercise on one day? Does that mean I'm not healthy that day? Okay. But if we flip-flop it and we talk about the being first, then the action that follows that, it becomes a whole new world, right? So here is the way that we would reframe that. I value listening to my inner voice. I am a person who listens to my inner voice. So I meditate. I am a healthy person. So I move my body every day. I value family. So I consciously choose to care for my family. And so essentially what we're doing is we're saying I am, or I value. And so you can get into your core list of values and you can fill in the blank there. So I am, or I value. So I, and then there is your action. When the action is coming from the intention, when the action is coming from who you are, then your action might look like the same action that someone else is doing from a different intention. It very well could be, but it's all about your intention. What are you? Who are you? And how does that person act? And so this becomes a really powerful way to make your choices throughout the day, right? So I am a healthy person, so I eat foods that create health in my body. And then all of a sudden, choosing healthy foods is not about restricting, and it's not about punishing yourself for what you ate the day before. And even if you make a choice that's maybe not so healthy, you can really come from that intention. You can say, I am a healthy person, so I allow myself to enjoy an indulgence on occasion. Because if you believe that that's part of health, then you can include that in, right? So what we want is we want to really ground ourselves in the belief of who we are. Ground yourself in the value, and then let the action follow. So instead of the other way, instead of creating the action or doing the doing and then having the transformation come after. This is the thing about transformation. You can become a healthy person today if you decide that you are a healthy person today. You can become someone who listens to their inner voice today if you create that intention in your life. You can be someone who checks in to their inner voice on a daily basis if you create that intention. Does that make sense? So intention first, that comes from who you are. Action second, that comes from who you are, instead of the other way around. I hope that this makes sense to you. I'm still really sitting inside of it. I'm still working it out. And I would love to hear your thoughts on this. And maybe you say, gosh, Kelly, I don't even know what my values are. I don't even know what I want. I don't even know what my intentions are. How do I get to that place? Well, you have to work it out. You have to dig down. You have to ask your inner voice for clarity around those questions. And if you're stuck there, guess what? That is what I do. I can help you with that. So in my one-on-one deep dive sessions, we take 60 to 90 minutes and we get really clear. We get really clear on your intentions, on your beliefs, on your values, and then you can create actions from those. And you can create practices that support you in those every single day. So if this sounds like something that you would really like to work on right now, don't wait. Don't wait until next week. Don't wait until next month. Don't wait until next year, right? Let's do it now. sign up for a deep dive session. You can do it right on my website at kellycovert.com. There's a box right on the first page there, and we can get started. I have been very deliberate about what I'm creating space for, and I have been filling in my calendar with at least 3 one-on-one sessions per week. I have space for 3 per week. And so get them before they're gone, number 1. And number 2, don't wait. Create what you want. It's time to create what you want in your life. And if that means that you need support, I encourage you to get support. And you can do that at kellycovert.com. And why is all this important? Why is it important for us to live by intention? Why is it important to be before we do? Because the essence of who we are is what we were put on earth to be, right? Each one of us has something really special that we can give and that we can be in this world. And if we're passing up on that, we're passing up on who we were born to be. We're passing up on our birthright as a person, as a human. So I want to encourage you to dig into that. Who were you born to be? Who do you want to be? What does that being feel like inside of your body? And all the time remembering that wherever you are in your journey, there's so much more to go. And that is so good and so perfect. And that you're exactly where you need to be right now, listening to this. Remember, and please, please don't ever forget, you are worthy.